I'm Patricia Serrano, and this is SailTrek. Hello again. One of the great things that Tony and I love about SailTrek is getting to visit out-of-the-way places.
Places that you can only find in this magical area called the Caribbean.
Places like these. Jim Scott gives us a preview of what to expect this season.
A magnificent sunrise signals another day of discovery for the SailTrek SOC team in the Caribbean. As dawn breaks, we sail the waters of the Caribbean aboard the Star Flyer and are mesmerized by the sound of the wind, the rustle of the sails, and the ease with which the ship slices through the waves. Our journeys have taken us to several islands, with many still to be discovered, but we wanted to give you a preview of things to come in upcoming weeks, right here on SailTrek SOC. On the island of St Lucia, there are many waterfalls, some tall and majestic, others more modest, but all unique in their own way. We visited Terrell Waterfall. Charming and lovely, Terrell is accessible and peaceful and allows visitors to take a quick dip in the plunge pool. On a hot day, the cool waters are just the ticket and very welcome. Everyone knows that the steel pan is the sound of the islands. But for one man in Antigua, his steel pans are, well, different. First, he makes them out of tin cans of all sizes. Then he hand paints them. He puts letters inside so that you can create your own melodies. And finally, he uses sticks wrapped in plastic like cut-up rubber gloves to play, and the sound, pure Caribbean. An historic sugar mill on St Lucia is the site of the wonderful Balenbouche estate. Steeped in history, yet committed to an eco-friendly future, it is a very different kind of place, featuring several open-air cottages where the birds fly in to join you for breakfast. Acres of beautiful grounds to walk and contemplate nature, and even 2 beaches. The history of Balenbouche is fascinating, and we'll tell you much more in the weeks to come. But for something a bit different, how about visiting a volcano? Just outside of Soufrière in St Lucia is the world's only drive-in walk-through volcano. Although, to be accurate, you are actually inside the caldera of a volcano that last erupted thousands of years ago. But like many islands in the Caribbean Ring of Fire, islands created by volcanoes, there are geothermal sulfur springs that are still active. And in the weeks to come, you'll get an up-close and personal look. Along with the steel pan, rum is probably one of the Caribbean's best-known exports. To find out more and learn why not all rums are created equal, we visited the St Lucia distillery, home of award-winning libations that are still made with loving care and with an eye to maintaining the historic tradition of this iconic drink. And there's much more to come in the weeks ahead on SailTrek SOC as we travel on our tall ship to the out-of-the-way places to bring you the stories of the people, history, and culture of this magical region, the Caribbean.
Here aboard the Starflyer, the pace of life is wonderful. Relaxed and mellow, but there's always a hint of excitement about what we'll find over the horizon.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome on board.
It is a sight rarely seen in these days of mega cruise ships that carry 5,000 passengers or more. A tall ship sails unfurled, powered by the wind. Welcome to the Starflyer, one of 3 magnificent tall ships owned by Star Clippers Cruises. Star Clippers are the culmination of a lifelong dream for founder and president Michael Kraft. Kraft is an expert sailor from Stockholm, Sweden, whose passion for sailing led to building a fleet of clipper ships, the Royal Clipper, the Star Clipper, and the home away from home for the SailTrek SOC team, the wonderful Starflyer. But while the Star Clipper fleet may look like the historic clipper ships, they are modern, high-tech recreations with all the latest safety and navigation equipment. And in the new normal brought on by COVID-19, these ships practice the very latest in health and safety protocols to keep their passengers and crew safe. But now that they are back at sea, they truly are something to behold. At 379 feet long, holding up to 166 passengers and 74 crew, the Starflyer is a floating shrine to a time when the tall ships ruled the seas and the wind filled the sails with the power to travel throughout the world. The Star Clipper fleet sails to the Caribbean, Central America, Western and Eastern Mediterranean, and the Panama Canal, to name a few. That leaves little downtime for the captain and his crew.
Stand by sails.
Crossing every week, I spend more than 50% on the sails. Because destinations, you have to be on time, you have to follow your calendar, itinerary, so that is, yeah. But We are lucky, I can say we are lucky here so far. You should know your ship, you should feel your ship, you should know how it works. It was a little bit, let's say, about sun kids. It was a little bit tricky with sun kids because it was a really strong wind, and to get alongside for us with all the mast, which is 64 meters higher, it's difficult, yes. But we manage because we know the ship, we know how it works, and so, and I have an excellent crew, that is also.
With 4 decks and 166 passengers, somebody has to make sure everyone is having a great time when the Star Clipper is at sea. And when they go ashore, enter cruise director Peter Kistner.
The ship until today is fully hand-sailed. It's nothing computerized. It's all done in the old traditional way. Of course, we have some electrical winches to save manpower, but generally speaking, it's just done like in the great days of the wind jammers, which is also the attractive part for many of our passengers, because when you speak to them, they are very well traveled, they have been pretty much all over the world, on all different kinds of ships and so on, but they're looking for something special, for something unique, where they still have contact with the sea. We have been in St. Martin when you see all these big monster ships over there. It's just a floating hotel, nothing. Here you feel the sea, you feel the elements. But you always know you're on the water, you hear the rigging, how it's working, everything. You feel the fresh breeze of the salt from the ocean. Makes it very authentic, makes it special, makes it private, makes it very unique, right? Whatever port we are coming, we're always the most beautiful ship. Never seen any port, they can have the most fancy yachts, but everybody is only looking with great eyes to us.
Tradition and modern convenience. The Star Clipper fleet is a unique example of borrowing from the past to explore the future. And for our SailTrek SOC team, the Star Flyer is the ideal vehicle to travel the Caribbean seas and bring you the stories of a truly magical region.
One of the great things we find each time we visit someplace new are the fascinating and unique people we didn't expect. And we find that animals are full of surprises too. Tony Harris takes us to a bird watcher's paradise.
This is Barbuda. It's very different from many of its sister Leeward Islands. Barbuda is flat, I mean very flat. And in 2017, when Irma, a Category 5 hurricane, hit, the island was all but destroyed and its residents all evacuated to Antigua. But the Caribbean people are known for their resilience. The people of Barbuda came back, and after nearly being destroyed in the hurricane, the largest frigate bird colony in the Western Hemisphere is back too. It's located in Codrington, the capital of Antigua and Barbuda. You can only get there by boat, and you need a tour guide to point out the magnificence of these rare birds.
Well, I know the birds from way back, really, because the bird used to live right down there where you see that bush in the center over there. We call that place Man of War Island, Okay, it was 1960 Hurricane Donna that actually come down, passed over Barbuda. The bird realized the storm was coming. What they did is up in the air and they fly away from the storm track. After the storm passed down the chain, then the bird come back. But when they did come back, they didn't meet the mangrove. So they were forced to choose that other spot where they are right now. Welcome to our beautiful Frigate Bird Sanctuary. The size of this sanctuary is a 1/4 mile wide from east to west and 3/4 mile long from south to north and expanding every year. Now to identify the birds. As you look around, you're going to see a lot of jet black birds. Those are adult male. That same jet black bird inflates a red balloon during mating season. Some of them black without any red balloon, and some have their balloon half inflated, but all the males are black in color. Look around, you see a bird with white breast. That is an adult female. Bear in mind that all adults have black head. All adults have black head. All the other birds that you're seeing now with white head are juvenile, right? Now from an egg, it takes a bird between 4 and 5 months to fly. And it takes the same bird 2 years to become adult. After the 2 years come about and the head of the bird turn black, if you were to ask me, George, that white-head one right here, is it a male or female? I can't tell you. I've been seeing these birds for years. I never really paid them much mind until the guests shed the light on them and I take some time and look at the bird. Now I fall in love with the bird too.
Thanks for watching.
See you on the next adventure.
We'll see you soon.